squeeze in a little bit more. I won't bite. Try not to. Try not to. Okay, everyone, you're all very welcome to Trim Castle. My name is Siobhan. I'll be your tour guide for the next little while. So what I normally do is I talk out here, and then I bring you inside this tower, what we call the keep. We go up 3 floors because I have to get you up to the very top, the roof. That is 30 meters in height. So is everyone okay with heights?
Yeah.
Oh, good. We're a bit enthusiastic. That's a good start. All right. If you feel today that heights are not your friend, or you do have a fear, that is fine. You do not have to do that part of the tour. You just have to let me know so I can show you where you descend down the stairs. Now, speaking of stairs, this building is an 800-year-old ruin, okay? There's nothing inside here for you to look at. No museum, no furniture, no nothing. So that means there's no lift or elevator inside here either, which means you've about 200 steps in total to navigate in order to get you up and to get you back down, okay? And the majority are your spiral stairs, which go around and around and around. So just be careful, no running on the steps because you're going to fall. Trust me, I've done it, okay? So just be careful. So take your time on them. So that's the health and safety. Now onto a wee bit of history. This is the oldest and largest Anglo-Norman stone-built castle in the country. It begins really the story after the arrival of the Anglo-Normans into Ireland. So they come in 1169. They're invited in by an Irish lord called Diarmaid MacMurchada. Slowly but surely they conquer the east coast. They acquire land and they themselves start to marry into the Irish culture. They make allegiances and alliances. Their Norman king, French born, over in England, King Henry II is getting a little bit worried about all the power and the lands that the Anglo-Normans are getting. So he arrives over in around 1172. And with him is a few loyal lords. One of them is a man called Hugh de Lacy. He's basically King Henry's right-hand man. In order for King Henry to keep an eye on things in Ireland, he grants Hugh de Lacy land. He gives him the ancient kingdom of Media, what we call the present-day counties of Meath, Westmeath, Offaly and Longford. Basically the middle of Ireland. That's what Media means, the middle. It's about 800,000 acres of land and it's the boundary point between the east and west of this country. So basically stops the Anglo-Normans from conquering the whole of Ireland because Hugh de Lacy slapped bang in the middle here. He decides that Trim is going to be the capital of his new kingdom. He needs to make a statement, and his statement is by constructing this stone castle in around 1173. That is when we believe the stone part is constructed. He chooses this particular spot because we're on elevated or high land, and we're overlooking the River Boyne, which is just down below us. Now you can't really see it at the moment, but trust me, it's there. You'll see it up on top of the roof. Now the River Boyne was a lot wider, a lot deeper in those days, so it's very important for trade, transport, navigation, and also as a defensive feature. So he uses the river as a moat. He makes a ditch, fills it with water from the Boyne, and that protects the castle outside here, okay? Stops enemies from crossing over. So the River Boyne protects this side. On the south side, 800 years ago, there was a smaller stream that was along the Dublin Road, and that was called the leper stream. Have you all heard of that disease, leprosy? Yes, that is what that stream is named after, okay? If you don't know what it is, it was a bacteria which attacks your nervous system. So over time, your fingers, your nose, your toes all literally rot off. Because it was such a contagious disease, lepers couldn't live in the castle, they couldn't live out in your town. They had to stay away in leper hospitals, and there was one out on the Dublin roadside. The stream ran past it, and according to local folklore, all your rotten fingers, noses, toes from those poor people were thrown into your stream, into your moat, and that stopped anyone from crossing over because they didn't want to catch the disease. Nasty yet effective, but this is the medieval period we're talking about, alright? It's nasty in all sorts of ways. So that's your moat, that's your first line of defence. Your second line was a massive wall, what we call a curtain wall, because it encloses your castle. There's 3 acres of land in here. About 450 metres in length it was, had 7 defensive watchtowers where your knights were based. Now if you're looking for a wall, you won't see it this side of us today, okay? That was blown down in about 1839 during Ian Moore, that's Irish for Night of the Big Wind, when there was an actual hurricane in this country and that blew down the wall that side of us, so hence no wall there today. 2 entrances into your castle. You came through the original, where you all bought your tickets, alright? That is called Trimgate, allowed the Marketstown people who were staying in the medieval town access into the castle. Now that was also very well defended. You had a drawbridge at Portcullis, and on your way back out after the tour, as you go back by the ticket office, take a look up at the ceiling and you will see 2 square holes, and they're called murder holes. So a bit of a clue for what they're used for. So pretend, for the fun of it, that 800 years ago that ye all decided to come and attack the castle. There'll be knights at the very top of that gatehouse, and they're armed with all sorts of lovely material to drop down on your heads. Boiling water, burning coals, lots of rocks, and last but not least, contents of the toilet. Because who wants that on top of your heads, right? I told you it's nasty, okay? Those holes still work today. Alright, yeah. We'll get to toilets later on, I can tell you that. Those holes still work today, so watch your heads on the way back out. We've an awful problem with pigeons, so you know what they do a lot, okay? So watch your heads, that's all I'm saying. Next door, just to the right, you see that modern looking porch, and there's a barrel of flowers to the right of it. It's just connected to Trimgate. That was the jail. So you're all safe, there is no jail in there, your jail was out here, okay? That was called an oubliette, coming from the French oublier, to forget. So if you committed a crime, if you were a hostage, if you were a thief, you were thrown down 3 meters into the very bottom. So you may break your bones on the way down, break your neck. If you do survive that fall, you're left there to starve. No food, no water, no nothing. So hence the term to forget. If they do remember you, well, unfortunately it's going to be torture or execution. And the common method of execution which occurs here is your decapitation, your head chopping. And we know this for a fact because during the conservation works which occurred in the grounds and also in the tower here, when the archaeologists were excavating or digging, they found numerous skulls, and some of those skulls had the mark of an axe, because in those days your axe is blunt, so it takes a fair few goes to get the head off the body. And once the head's off the body, it's then put on display outside the castle walls as a warning to everyone else. And that jail today is now our office, and is where we have our lunch. So some things haven't changed too much, except we do get fed with blood spattered walls and the whole lot. That's all I'm going to say about that. Last but not least, and then I'll get you inside. Look behind you, across the river, you'll see that ruined building. It looks like a big finger sticking up. That is Ireland's tallest medieval building, and it's not part of the castle. It's later in date and it belongs to a monastery. So what you're looking at is 14th century in date. We're going into a building that's 12th century, so there's a wee bit of a difference. That is 40 metres in height. We're going up 30 metres in height. It originally had 7 floors because it was the bell tower, okay, or a belfry tower. We're only going up 3, so you're not doing so bad, all right? I'd much rather this than doing that, okay? You all have purple passes, is that right? I will collect those off you at the door. There is a low step at the door. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So push in as much as you can. Keep looking and looking. Thank you. Push in as much as you can. Oh, I think I'll get that. Thank you. If you're not sharing, that key comes back to me, okay? So don't lose it, or we're all stuck here, and the adults are not going to be happy. All right.
Oh no.
So just to explain this building, we call this tower the keep. That word goes back to the 14th century. It basically means that the building kept the household safe in case they were under attack. That is why the door is on the first floor, not on ground level. Why we had to climb all those steps. Now, 800 years ago, for our modern staircases today, you have to imagine it made completely out of wood. Then later on, they get rid of the wood and they make a stone staircase. But the stairs don't go all the way up to this door. Rather, there's a gap between the two, a large one. You couldn't jump across. So if you wanted to gain access into this tower, you have to be given permission. So they'd lower down a drawbridge to cover the space between the two, and then you were granted access in here. So they're controlling who's allowed in here and who isn't. The next phase is this room that we're in. We call this room the disarming room. So there's a clue in the name. This is where one had to disarm themselves. leave their weapons behind. Swords, knives, axes, all that kind of a thing were left in here. The reason why they were kept in here is because through this corridor, which used to have 2 doors, is a public space, your public hall, your great hall, where Hugh de Lacy's sitting, holding meetings for his kingdom, hosting parties, banquets, all that kind of a thing. They don't want anyone coming in with their sword, their axe, their knife, wanting to chop off his head. So they're protecting the Lord by keeping all the weapons in here. So I do have to ask, is there any weapons on anyone here today? Any concealment of axes, knives, swords? Anything new there? No, just the key, is it?
Just a key.
Just the key. Go on, keep it to yourself. So you're all safe. I'm not going to strip search you or anything like that. So in you go, right?
Okay, look up. See the fancy archways.